Good morning. I'm here in Yosemite National Park. Spent last night in the backpackers campground in Tuolume, Meadows, and I'm on my way up Rafferty Creek right now, headed towards Vogelsang, something like that. You know me, I can't ever pronounce any of the words on the map. So I headed up to that peak. There's a pass. I'm going to probably drop my bag and try to hit up the peak, go over to the other side, and there's a couple of lakes. So hopefully tonight, I brought the fishing pole this time. We'll try to get some fish, see if there's anything in those lakes on the other side. Awesome day out. The weather this week is supposed to be like absolutely perfect, like lows in the upper 30s and highs in the upper 70s. And that was at Tuolume Meadows. So as I go up in elevation, it should drop even more. Still a ton of UV, of course, up in here, but it's not super hot like it's the last couple of hikes I did where it was in the 90s plus. So this is perfect weather. Time to eat some food. So my snacks for this trip are kind of trail mix based. I didn't bring any bars. I figured I'd just do trail mix kind of things the whole time. I seem to be liking that on the last couple of trips. For today, we are going to eat Tex-Mex, I think, and then the other one's called Monster. I get them in bags at Target. They're on sale. They're fairly inexpensive, and I think your price per calorie is a lot better than a bar. Like a Cliff Bar is $1 to $1.50. And you can get a $3 bag of trail mix that takes me a whole day to eat, whereas I'd only have 2 Cliff Bars for the same thing. So I've been going that route. I seem to like it. Made it to the backpackers campground here, kind of near Fletcher Lake. A couple little buildings and toilets, which I think are shut down. I've got 1.2 miles to Vogelsang Pass, and then 3.7 miles to Merced Lake, which is where I'm planning on camping. There's 2 lakes kind of close to each other. I'll figure out which one I think is the best. But I'm going to keep going up here to Vogelsang Lake and take a lunch break. Then get up the top of this pass, and there's like from what I've read, an interpretive trail to be able to actually get to the top of the peak. Made it to Vogelsang Lake here, looking out over the peak and the nice, lovely lake. I got up here, I left about 7 o'clock, 7:15, something like that, from Tuolume Meadows campground, and got here at about 11:20. So made decent time. Took a couple of short breaks and shot some video, enjoyed the sights. It was absolutely gorgeous up here, not a cloud in the sky. I felt like I was, pretty fit, doing really good. And then as soon as I sit down here, I start filtering some water. And this dude with this little dinky little trail running pack just comes running on by, like barely out of breath, says hello, and keeps running. And I'm like, yeah, I hate you, because I was huffing and puffing on the way up, and he's just running around here. So, anyways, standard fare for today's lunch. We got some wheat thins, black pepper, got some dry salami, and of course my favorite, the Bee Meister Gouda cheese, and one heck of a view. Climbing up now from Vogelsang Lake up to a pass, just past those bushes there, and then there's a little gap there. I'm going to scramble up there, around the other side of that, and there's the peak. Started my off-trail approach to the peak up here. I'm going to work up this little valley. At the bottom of that scree field, I'm going to drop my pack, head up this little scree right there. We'll see how hard that is, and then once I get on the ridge line, it should be relatively simple. Left my pack about 10-15 minutes ago down the rock field. I'm going up the chute. I'll follow the ridge line, and that's the peak right up there. Probably another 400 feet of climbing or so. This has been pretty mellow rock hopping. I came from the saddle down in there. That's where the pass is, and the lake I stopped at is down over those trees right there. It's 1:50 and I made it to the top of Vogelsang Mountain, I guess it's called. Left the lake a little after noon, so it took about 2 hours from the base of the lake to get up here. And this is probably one of the coolest spots I've been to in Yosemite. You can see the whole everything, like Half Dome. I can see Red Peak over there. We went over Red Peak Pass when I was in Yosemite last year with Kelsey and a couple of my friends. You can see this whole range. I mean, this is like kind of smack dab in the middle here. This is pretty awesome. The north side of the park, which I've never been on, looks pretty epic too. I'll do a trip there next year maybe. Woo! That was a climb. The last 50 feet was definitely a class 3 little scramble to get up there. The rest is relatively mellow. Let's sit here and relax for 20 minutes taking the views. This is unbelievable. I'm crawling around up here on the peak trying to see if there's any USGS marker on a rock. I can't seem to find one. But right down there, that's the Yosemite High Camp for Vogelsang. And then if you can actually barely see the trail, like right there, I started this morning at 7 a.m. down in the valley behind that little nook. So from 7 to about 2 o'clock, this is where you can get to. Still a little bit of snow right there. Not much snow except for at the really, really high peaks. Pretty much all gone. So now comes the fun part. I got to get down from here, which means doing some scrambling and a little bit of work, and then there's it way down here. Then you kind of pick your own all the way down to that slide, and then it's pretty simple from there. Made it back to my backpack that I stashed between these two big rocks. They're easy to find. Yeah, that was a workout. Yeah, getting up there and then back down was rough. If you look at maps, there's like a trail kind of marked, and there's not really a trail, so don't expect like your normal backpacking trail at the top. When you get up to that kind of that rocky kind of couloir kind of area, that scree area, if you stick to the right, it seems to be a little easier. The rocks aren't quite as big, but yeah. Anyways, that was a good climb. It took about an hour and a half or so from doing all this. I'll be back to the trail in 10 minutes. It's down to my lake for the night, which is only about 2 miles away, so that'd be nice. Relax, maybe do some fishing, see if there's anything. Saw some park rangers on the way here on horseback, and they asked where I was going, what I was doing, all that kind of stuff. And then I asked if there's any fish in the lake, and the lady kind of was like, I don't think so. So we'll see. We'll sit here for a few minutes, peanut M&M time, and a lot of water because I sweat a ton going up there. Coming to a nice meadow here. I'm on my way up to Merced Lake, which is up and over that. We're kind of in a bowl right here. Over a half mile, I gotta go up 400 feet. So I think I gotta go this way, loop up, and that'll be my lake for the night. You can see the pass right up there, and then that's where I was about 2 o'clock, and it's about 5 right now. It's taking 3 hours to come down from there and all the way around. Still got a little ways to go. I'm pretty beat. I'm looking forward to taking my shoes off and putting my feet up. Made it to Merced Lake. You can see off in the distance Vogelsang peak where I climbed. It's a little after 5. I'm pretty zonked. I've been up walking pretty much steady since 7. The longest break I took was for lunch, and that was about 30 minutes. So that was a good day of walking, and then like quite a bit off trail. I mean, I think I gained 800, 1,000 feet off trail and then back down. So that was a lot. That wore me out going up that peak. So I found a nice little spot here, kind of nestled in among some trees and rocks. Be a perfect campsite for tonight. Easy water access, probably about 100 yards that way. And then there's that point over there, and we'll try to fish. Looks like the water's deep enough. It was kind of nice. When I was at the top of the peak, I took some pictures of the lake to kind of know where the depth was. The north side is pretty shallow, but this edge right here, which I'm on the east kind of edge of the lake, is got a couple of drop-offs and stuff. So we'll see if there's any fish. I'm hoping to get something. It'd be awesome to get something after a full day of working. Nice size brookie, very nice. Hey, good bud. Super happy there's fish in here. Awesome view, looking up at the mountains. You can see all around. That was 2 brook trout in like 15 minutes, so that was pretty quick. I caught it on I think it's a 3/8 ounce silver and blue Castmaster, which is usually my like go-to default. I don't know what else to use. That's what I use, and It's one of my faves. I'm going to switch it up here and try the Black Mepps Fury. Number 1, I think chartreuse dots. It's really hard to say. Incredible view tonight. Black Fury is where it's at. That was 2 casts in a row with 2 fish. This is the second of the 2. We can get them off here. Maybe I should switch up lures more often. I switched to the Black Fury, and I've had 1 really hard bite, and then I got 2 in, all within 5 minutes. So it's interesting. They were hitting on the Castmaster, but it seems the Black Fury is doing a lot better. I'm doing a retrieve technique where I'm casting real kind of fast, then a little slow, kind of fast, slow, and I'm really trying to vary it up. And they seem to be hitting. I do really fast, and then I go a little slow. That's exactly when they start hitting. Well, that's number 4. Let's get some more. I'm back at camp, and that was awesome fishing. In about 45 minutes, I caught 6 fish. The crazy thing, and I don't know if this has ever happened before, maybe once in my fishing, career, but I caught 3 fish in a row. I didn't even film the third one because I was just mind blown. But 3 casts, 3 fish. That was pretty cool. And it's interesting. Like, I was catching them with the Castmaster, but they were striking harder, faster, and everything with the Black Mepps Fury. So I think in the future I'm going to cast like 7, 8 times with 1 lure, and if that's not really bringing them in, then try something else. So hopefully it's a little windy. Hopefully that it calms down here in a minute after I eat my dinner, and I'm going to go back out and do some more fishing. Interesting story. I went to the hardware store right before I left for this trip, and I was like, oh, I'm out of my denatured alcohol. I need to get some of that for my alcohol stove, which I've used for forever. And I go in the hardware store, and the nice dude's like, what are you looking for? Denatured alcohol. Oh, the state of California banned that in 2019. We don't have it anywhere. Switched up the dinners for this particular trip. Last night I did mac and cheese, pretty basic, with some summer sausage, like little chunks put into it, the same sausage I use for my lunch. And then for tonight I'm pretty excited. I've got a ramen noodle packet that I have turned into pesto, kind of. Dried oregano, rosemary, garlic, salt, a little bit of pepper, dried red peppers, and, oh yes, Parmigiano. So we're going to put all that in there, and once that warms up, it's sitting in my pot cozy currently, getting reheated and cooked real well. And I've got tons of sausage left, so I'm going to throw some more of that in there too. I also added pine nuts, so this should be good. Dinner is ready, and this is really freaking good. I should put some more garlic in it. Of course, I say that to about every recipe I eat, but this is really, really good. I would recommend this one for sure. It's getting pretty dark. I just wrapped up some fishing. I think my total count for today was 11 brook trout in about an hour and 15 minutes of fishing time. So that's pretty good. The Black Mepps Fury was definitely the winner. Number 1 with orange and chartreuse dots. So I'm definitely going to bring that one again in the future. That was a really good lure this time. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the view tonight. Watching some of the stars come out. I downloaded on Audible a book I've really been liking. It's called Undaunted Courage. It's written by Stephen Ambrose, the same guy that wrote Band of Brothers. And it's all about the Lewis and Clark expedition. So I thought that was a good, adventure type thing to listen to. I'm like 4 or 5 hours into it and really, really liking it. I brought the Apple AirPods. I've never done this before. I've brought different headphones before. These actually work really good. I borrowed them from Kelsey, and they work really well. It's nice that they can charge in their little container there, so it's really nice to do. But yeah, really enjoying this book. It's good to hear about other adventurers and things like that. It kind of motivates you to keep going. Granted, I'm not doing anything near as hardcore as what they did, but still cool to listen to. I'm really liking having an audiobook to listen to when there's no one else to talk with or hang out with, and just doing a solo trip. It kind of helps to pass some of the time. Good morning. It's just a little after 7:30. Got up. Slept pretty good last night. It's a titch windy, but the shelter did a really good job of keeping the wind off me. Pretty cool. I'm walking back down to the main trail, and that's Vogelsang Peak where I was at yesterday afternoon. Got a long day today, all on trail, nothing too crazy. And I think the highest elevation I get to is like 9,000, whereas I'm at, or 9,900, where I'm at 10.6 at this lake. So pretty good day. 16 miles I think is the total distance. A little bit of the trail today is going to be repeated. It might look familiar. About 4 miles of it is from the trip I did last year with Kelsey and friends doing the Red Peak Pass loop. But awesome day out. Sun's come up. You can still see the moon is up over there. Time to go walking. Making good progress this morning. You can see Half Dome right there, and then that's Merced Lake where I'm going to go down and take lunch. It's 10:15. Hopefully I'm there in about an hour or so. So I'm here at Merced Lake, about 11:30, came down from Beatrice. Pretty decent descent the entire way. It's pretty much just down, 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 down. A couple of like pretty rocky switchbacks and stuff. So that'd be a rough trail to go back up. If I was planning a trip going up that way, I would allot some extra time because that's a kind of a rough trail. But here, eat my standard lunch, and I'm gonna just chill out here. I'm kind of ahead of schedule where I want to be, so just chill out, relax, get some water in me. Rest up for like half an hour or so and then get back on trail. Just crossed over Echo Creek, and as you can see, it's bone dry. So I just had to do a fun extra 45-minute jaunt back down to the Merced River to fill up on water because it is 7.7 miles up to the next lake. So hopefully with me guzzling a half a liter and then the 2 liters in my bag, should be able to make it up to the top there, because if it's this dry down low, I doubt any of the little upper tributaries are going to have any water in them. Well, there's no need to head back to the river because I've gone about a quarter mile up from the trailhead where the creek looked dry, and there's a nice little running stream here. So just add in an extra mile today to the mileage. Alright, so there's actually tons of water up here. Just had to come up a bit higher. It's been a while since I've checked in. We got some big old puffy clouds and I can hear some thunder in the distance. So I'm heading right towards it. We'll see what happens. It's 5:15. I'm off the Cathedral Fork. I'm going to call it quits for now. I've been going really pretty steady since 7 o'clock with like maybe 2 25-minute breaks in there. So I'm pretty beat. It's warm. It's really warm today. It looks like the clouds are rolling in, going to cover up the sun here, so I'm happy about that. But it also looks like it could rain. So I'm going to find a great area here, nice and flat, really level, and set up my shelter. Water's just about 100 yards that way, so that's great. Goal tonight is rest up. I'm pretty beat, pretty dirty. And then tomorrow, get up early and head towards Tuolume Meadows. I'm really getting the hang of how to tension it and like where you need to apply tension to first. I try to get it in the ground as good as possible. Over here, this was just solid rock about ½ inch down. So what I do is I just take my peg, run it horizontally, loop around it, and then I put one rock here, a whole bunch on top, and then it's just jammed in there, kind of like a letter T. I liked my Italian dinner so much last night that I'm doing the same thing again tonight. One thing I don't think I said last night is I brought olive oil. I put it in this Nalgene bottle. I think Nalgene actually makes these little tiny bottles. You can buy them usually at REI. And it didn't leak at all. I put the Ziploc in there just as a backup. I wasn't so trusting. There was this one canoe camping trip where I had a bottle of olive oil leak and a like packet of Gatorade powder as a Ziploc. So when like the two combined, they made this like quick cement that like went over everything in the food bag. And so the entire rest of the trip, I was pulling out everything, and it had this like Gatorade oil infused crusted thing that was all over everything. So anyways, don't do that. Make sure your stuff's sealed up really well. With dinner over with, it's now on to the relaxing time of the evening. I like to finish my night off with a couple of gummy bears. I like to consider myself a backcountry gummy bear expert. And you know, I used to be a red gummy bear guy all the time. Second, followed by clear. And now I'm thinking red and orange they're fighting each other. The worst is still green. Green is bad. If they made a non-green pack, I would buy that one. But orange is pretty good too. Yellow, clear, I don't know. It's hard to tell. This is what you debate when you're by yourself in the middle of the woods. Have my gummy bears, and I'm winding down the night, just taking it easy. I've been listening to the Audible book Undaunted Courage a lot more today. I think I've gotten through in the last 2 days 10 hours of it. So great book. It's really fun to listen to. One thing I've been messing around with at home and then out in the field past trip or two is printing my own maps and then different navigation tools. If I'm out here solo, I want to make sure that I can always find out where I'm going to be. My primary tool is always my phone, and I use the Gaia GPS app. People have asked about that in the past. But I'm also upgrading my skills, been reading a lot more. I was just sitting there playing around. I printed my own topo maps, 1 to 50 scale topo maps with UTM grid, and was playing around with not only can I transcribe the coordinates from my watch or my phone or my inReach to the map, which I can using this nice little grid square. Been using this. And then I also wanted to go old school, like shooting a bearing. Like when I stand out here in this little arisen spot, you can see a peak there, and then there's two really distinct peaks there. They look like, I don't know, two eggs or something. They're really distinctive. So I was using the old school compass to do shooting some bearings, and I felt pretty good. I got like, within 50 meters of where I'm at. I was able to do that triangulating. And then with the grid square, I was right there within 10 meters. So probably sometime this winter or fall when it gets colder and I'm inside and thinking about camping, I'll put together a whole video about prepping for a trip when it comes to maps. So finding where to go, printing maps, downloading maps, different systems, all these fun tools you can use, and then talk about what kind of setup I would use depending on what kind of trip I was doing. Good morning. It's just a little bit after 6 a.m. Had a great night's sleep last night. It was super quiet. There's like no noise, no bugs, no squirrels running around, no birds, no mosquitoes. Very, very quiet. And I slept great from probably about 9:15 till 6:30 or so, or 5:30. So now it's time to get back on trail, and I've got about 10 or so miles back to Tuolume Meadows where my car is, and looking forward to getting home and seeing the wife and the animals, and taking a shower. I'm very dirty. This I don't know if the camera will pick up on it, but I'm pretty absolutely filthy. My legs are black right now, so I think a shower sounds kind of nice right now too. I've been climbing down for a little over 2 hours. You can look right there. That peak is Vogelsang Peak, where I was, I don't know, what was that, 2 days ago? I slept in the valley right down there behind that rock. So it's taken me about 2.5-ish hours to come up here, through a meadow over there, and then up and around. But you can see all of Yosemite from here. That patch right there that's a little reflective, that is right where the lake was that I camped the first night. Awesome view. Made it down to the main road, 120. I got about a 3-mile hike that way to get back to my car. And it's funny now, I'm in range of like a bunch of day hikers. Apparently that lake I came from, Cathedral Lakes, is a popular day hike. And there's this funny moment when people walk by you and you can tell they had a shower and they're clean You could smell like shampoo and the soap. And I wonder if they smell how bad I smell. You know, if my backpacker stench is wafting their way as their watermelon lemon shampoo, you know, wafts my way. So another funny thing is I just looked at my hands and my face and noticed how dirty I was, and been listening to the Undaunted Courage on Lewis and Clark, and there is a point in the book where the author is talking about an encounter between Lewis and this group of Indians, and they couldn't discern, they didn't understand he was a white man, so he had to like roll up his sleeve because he was so dirty and so tanned that he looked like a Native American. So I can kind of understand that if you were out here for 6 months and doing this day after day, you would get very tanned and very dirty very quick.